So now that you've been able to log in or create an Azure portal account, let's talk about something that affects pretty much everyone when they're first learning Azure for the first time. We do want to avoid any unexpected or surprise costs. Now, if you have an Azure free account, then you don't really have anything to worry about because Azure's giving you some free credits, and then at the end of the free credits, the resources will be shut down and you have to make a choice to go into a pay-as-you-go plan. Otherwise, you can't continue to use Azure. Now, after the 30 days and you make the choice, you will have a pay-as-you-go plan pretty much. How do you know? Now, we're logged into the portal and we're in the home screen. You can see the home screen is underneath this hamburger menu here. And I'm going to click on subscriptions. And we can see the subscription name. The default is pay-as-you-go. But you can rename that to something that's more useful if you've got multiple accounts. Again, if it says free, then you don't have anything to worry about here. But if it says pay-as-you-go, let's continue on. Now you can see that I've already incurred 28 cents of costs this month. And that's not very much, obviously, but it is more than zero. And we'd have to figure out what's the 28 cents, where is it coming from, do we need to delete it, or what? Now if we go into the subscription by clicking it, we can see that in the month of October and November, I accumulated $68 in costs. And I can almost guarantee you that what happened here was that I created some resources and then I forgot about it and I came back a couple days later and realized they were still running. This is so common. It happens to pretty much almost everyone who's got a pay-as-you-go plan. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a budget. So on the left side of the screen, there's under cost management, it says budgets. Now, by default, I don't have any budgets. What we're going to want to do is create our first budget. So we're going to say add. Now we can say what the scope is of this budget. Now we do want this first budget to affect our entire subscription. And so the default being the subscription is fine. But if we want to limit the budget scope to only a particular resource group or a particular resource even, we can then navigate down into this resource group and I can say this resource group here, I want to put the budget on there. But again, I'm pretty happy with the subscription level budget right now. We have to give it a name, so call this new budget. And the name cannot contain spaces. Now, at what period do we want the budget to affect? Maybe just the billing month or the calendar month or the quarter, etc. So billing month is just fine. Budgets expire. And so this budget's going to run for another 2 years. Let's leave it like that. Now, it does look back upon my history and make a suggestion in terms of what would be a good budget. In this case, it's suggesting $8. Now, that's probably a little bit low, but let's say I really do want to be notified when the spending hits 20. That would be like a significant number for me. So I'm going to put in a number in there. Now, you might want this to say 1, right? The budget could very well be anytime there's a cost you want to be notified. In this case, I'll let it go up to about $20. Now, it's important to keep in mind what's going to happen when this budget is hit. Well, it's not going to be necessarily what you expect. The budget doesn't stop running once it reaches the budget limit. It actually just alerts you. So we can say, give it a condition that says when 100% of the budget has been spent, which in my case is $20, I can just have it alert me by email. So I can enter my email address here, and it will actually just send me an email when this budget is hit, and I can say create. And so now at least I get notifications when the budget hits $20 every month. This is very important to set up because I believe it's happened to almost everybody who's worked with Azure, where you accidentally start up a resource and you forget about it, and suddenly 2 days later, $100 has been spent. So before we get into the content, I just want to take a minute here to talk about the Udemy video player. In the bottom left of the screen is the speed control. And if you think I'm talking too fast or talking too slow, you can change the speed of that down in the left. On the right is the captions. And if you want to see the text of what I'm saying at the bottom of the video, you can choose either the English language captions or in another language. If you want to see a transcript, there's also a transcript button. And so you can see on the side of the screen the script of this video. Finally, reviews are the lifeblood of this course. So if you do choose to leave a review, I would be so grateful. This will help other students to find this course in search. If you're not ready to leave a review, you can click the Ask Me Later button or Ask Me at the end of the course. Both options are available to you. But if you are willing to leave a review, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. I want to say thanks for being a student. If you do have a suggestion for something I can add to the course to make the experience better, drop me an email. The email is on screen. So thanks again, and let's get into the content. So Microsoft has announced some changes to this exam, the AZ300 Technologies exam, as of December 4, 2019. In this video, we're going to talk about those changes. Now, if you go to the official landing page, scroll down a little bit, they've changed the page up. They'd still have a list of the technologies covered and the percentages, but you have to go to an external PDF in order to see those changes. Now, I'll click on that, zoom in a little bit. Now, the first half of the PDF is the requirements of the exam, so we can just skip over that because there's nothing that's changed. The changes aren't listed in the first half. Once you get to the halfway mark, this sort of near the end of the page here is when we see the actual changes. Now, almost every section of this exam has had a topic removed or a topic added. There's seen a lot of like strike-throughs and things have just been moved around. So this provision VM section doesn't live here, but then now it lives near the bottom of the document there. So I've created a presentation here to talk about the changes to the AZ300 exam. All right, so these are the requirements of the exam. That hasn't changed, and the percentages haven't changed. Now, these following topics have been added to the deploy and configure infrastructure part of the exam, which is roughly 1/4 of the exam. So Azure Monitor workbooks, using AD authentication for accessing storage accounts, storage account failover, dedicated hosts, Azure VM backup, and application security groups. I'm going to be adding videos to this course on these topics. On the workloads and security section, we only have the front door service and the virtual WAN service that's been added to that section. There's nothing new in the deployment of apps, and it's only 5 to 10% of the exam. And a couple of new things in terms of authentication, managed identities. They have data encryption in transit, which is fairly simple with HTTPS and OAuth2 authentication styles. And they've added database stuff. So the last version of this exam did not have any direct relationship to databases, but now we've got the NoSQL and relational databases being added in. Now, in terms of that's been removed, the Azure Container Service is deprecated as of January 2020. You can no longer create ACS, so that's not on the exam anymore. Reserved instances have been removed. Don't know why, but that's no longer in the topic list. There's been some stuff around migration that's been removed, and if you can believe it, they no longer cover the load balancing service, but they still cover application gateway. So those are the changes to the exam. You can see there's been a lot of topics added to various sections, and so you can expect that I'm going to go and record videos for this, add them to the course. And when it comes to stuff being removed, I'll obviously keep an eye out for videos that are no longer relevant on that.